Welcome to Okon Bros. This is Eric.
I'm Michael, and if you want to learn the secrets of the universe, the law of attraction, mysticism, brohood, gambling, movies, pop culture, archangels, magic, good food, business, health, family, mediumship, and hypnotism, smash that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, press the noti icon, and spread this video around like butter on a New York bagel.
I love it. So today we have on Selena Valentine. She is the CEO and founder of HypnoBiz, which helps hypnotherapists reach their highest potential. Thank you for coming on, Selena.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
That's amazing. I want to jump right in. I know next to nothing about hypnotherapy. School us on hypnotherapy. What are the use cases for it? How can it help us? How can it help our audience? What is the deal with hypnotherapy?
Well, hypnotherapy is a technique where you can access the subconscious mind and make changes in that deep level. Most of us know that we have two parts of our mind. We have the conscious mind and then we have the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is basically what we use for as making decisions, the analytical part of the mind, solving math problems, things like that. But the subconscious mind, and that's about 10% of the mind. The subconscious mind is actually the larger percent of the mind. It's about 90% of the mind. So it's things that control, things like our heartbeat, right? Our breathing, things at like the deeper level. So if you think about an iceberg, right? When you see the iceberg, you think, okay, well, what's that on top? I would say that's the conscious mind, but below the surface, what you don't see is the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is really running the show. All your habits are stored in the subconscious mind, or your, past traumas or anything like that is stored in the subconscious mind. So if you want to make change, like really deep change in your life and break those bad habits or release those past traumas, you really have to get to the root, which is the subconscious mind, to make those changes. And that's really what hypnotherapy does. And that's why it's really, really effective.
Selena, where did you get started with this? Like, were you born saying, I want to do hypnotherapy, or was it a journey to find this?
Absolutely not. When I was younger, I went to college for business administration. I had no idea what hypnotherapy was. And unfortunately, I had some tragic events happen in my life. There were family members that were passing away, specifically my older brother, my only brother. And it was just really traumatic for me. I was having a hard time dealing with it. And then one of my girlfriends actually went to see a hypnotherapist to stop smoking. And she had smoked for about 15 years and she tried everything and just could not stop smoking. And after one session, she just quit smoking. I was like, come on, what in the world did that hypnotherapist do to you? And I said to myself, well, if it worked for you to help you stop smoking, maybe it can help me with this grief, because I was in severe grief. And anybody that's close to a relative, especially close in age, and then, just grief, it's just real. And I just needed to deal with it. And then I went to see her, and it was like a light bulb went out of my head. And I was like, how did I not know about this? How did I find out about this now? And it was truly amazing. It was like a dark cloud had lifted, and then the way she reframed it. So I started celebrating his life and just thinking about our memories and really honoring him versus thinking about the sadness or the loss. So it was just like a complete mindset shift. And I know for a fact, because I was trying to get it out of that grief, trust me, with, thinking positive thoughts, exercising. I was trying to do anything to get my endorphins flowing. It was only with hypnotherapy that really helped me. And then I just became a hardcore believer, like, this works.
Can anybody be hypnotized, or are there certain people that are like too closed off, or they're just incapable of doing it?
Well, definitely if you have some sort of, brain trauma or disorder or things like that, autism, Down syndrome, obviously you need to have a healthy functioning, mind, functioning brain. And also you have to be willing and open. If you're not willing and open to, allow new suggestions in your subconscious mind, allow your subconscious mind to help you, it's like working in tandem to become the best version of yourself, it won't happen. I could say I want to be the best tennis player all day long, but if I go for a tennis lesson, I'm like, I'm not really into this. I don't really think it's going to work. You're not going to turn me into a world-class champion. It's not going to work out for you. You have to have that open-minded mindset, and of course have a healthy mind.
There's this stigma that I have with hypnotism, that like when I think of hypnotism, I think of like Looney Tunes, right? And like they're going like this in front of your face, and like the eyes start swirling, and you go into this other thing. I've always had a fear of flying. Since I was a little boy, since I was as far back as I can remember. I always hate the turbulence. I've gotten much, much better. I'm 42 now.
Selena, can you fix him right now, please?
Live
on air.
Can you hypnotize me on the fear of flying? I'm much better with flying because I was flying so much prior to COVID. But is it really sitting with a like a stopwatch in front of your face and saying you are not afraid of flying anymore?
I think most people, they think about hypnotherapy from movies. And of course, that's like obviously, dramatized. It's all dramatic. Right. And there's some falsehoods in there. And I think that's, most people's experience with it. Or stage hypnotists, obviously, when they go to college shows and things like that.
Right.
And back in the day when hypnotism was first getting started, whether that was with mesmerism, mesmer or braid or whatever, they used a stopwatch or things like that. But it's with any modality, things change, things advance, just like medicine. If you think back to when medicine first started in the early 1700s, come on, you can't even compare that now. We have robotics, we have robotic machines. So you think of hypnotherapy back then with the watch or whatever, that's in its infancy. Now it's a much more advanced technology. And
so
part of the reason,
do?
one second.
Yeah.
Part of the reason why you may have had that fear of flying, maybe something happened to you while you were flying, or maybe, in the past, yes. Or if you had turbulence on the plane when you were a kid, that you yes. probably didn't even know, and those memories are stored in your subconscious. Or maybe you watched a movie, and then in that movie, yes. there was a plane crash. Like the fears, they don't come from anywhere, okay? Right. They're in your subconscious mind for a reason, and you may not be conscious of when did I start this fear? But your subconscious knows is deeply embedded in there. So with hypnotherapy, you would come in, you would sit with a hypnotherapist. Excuse me for talking fast, I'm from New York like you guys, so everything is really, really fast.
I love it.
Go for it, girl. Go for it.
New Yorkers talk really, really fast. You would come in, and then of course you would complete an intake form, whether online and in person. And then we would really get down to the root. When did you start to have this fear? What's it like? What's the sensations in your bodies? What do you feel? Whether that's sweaty palms, right? Or whether you start hyperventilating, whatever it is, right? Try to really break that down where this all started. And then of course we would talk about how do you want to feel instead? And then we would get to those triggers and things like that. So it's a whole process. Obviously you're not going to do it right now on air because it's a complete process, and you want to take it seriously. The same way I wouldn't have therapy online right now. Obviously that's private, that's personal. I want to talk to the therapist about my issues, and that's how you go to the next step.
Is it like cognitive behavioral therapy? Is hypnosis that, like, because I've been through therapy before, and they give you tools on coping mechanisms. Is that hypnotism?
That's a little different. Therapy is a little different because with therapy, you're really dealing with the conscious mind. You're talking with the person, right? That's the analytical part of the mind when you're trying to think and you're trying to solve and things like that.
Correct.
With the subconscious mind, you're more, I would say, to just make it easy, hypnotherapy is like guided meditation, but with a goal. So you're more in like a relaxed state because you want to not break down, but you want to suspend belief in order for the suggestions to go into the subconscious mind. So typically hypnotherapy, of course, there's waking hypnotherapy and talk hypnotherapy and covert hypnotherapy and things like that. Hypnotherapy that I specialize in is where you are in more of a relaxed state. So your subconscious mind is able to take suggestions a lot easier. And I would say that's the real difference with traditional therapy and hypnotherapy. It's like guided meditation, but when in a goal, you're in that meditative state.
Wow.
Do you have to have a goal with
That's the whole point of hypnotherapy.
So you have to have something that you
That's
want.
The whole point. You're coming to solve a problem. You're coming to solve an issue. Now, with meditation, a lot of times with meditation, you're taught to be still and to be thoughtless. That's really like the origins of it, meditation, where you're like, I'm just going to be there with my breath and my breathing. That's great too. You want to empty your mind, be really present. Hypnotherapy is like, no, you're focused on an outcome. And that's why I think hypnotherapy works really fast, because it's like you're laser focused on your goal and your outcome and what you want. And you're basically telling your subconscious mind, once you lower that wall of the conscious mind, this is what I want. This is what I want to focus on. This is what I need to do to get there. And then, you're giving little triggers so to get you back into that state where your mind is completely focused on that. So for me, mine was to get out of grief, to feel really great about my brother, to celebrate my brother. When I think about my brother, I felt all the positive emotions versus the sadness and the negative emotions. And that worked really well for me. So it was almost like, Pavlov's dog. Like I thought about my brother and it was like, oh my God, I saw his smiling face. And I thought about all the vacations we took and all the concerts we went to and all the trips. It was literally like Pavlov's dog versus before I would think about my brother and I would think about the funeral and I would think of, all these sad things and my mother and all of that. It's like Pavlov's dog. It's really, really effective.
How do you become a hypnotherapist?
Well, obviously, you do have to take training, just like with anything. So I became certified through the NGH, which is the largest, one of the largest organizing bodies of hypnotherapy for the National Guild of Hypnotherapy. They've been around since, I think, like 1950 or something like that. There are a lot of schools and things like that, like HMI in California. You can check around for your accredited school. That's just happened to be the school that I went to. I'm also a certified instructor. So I certify people to become hypnotherapists as well.
So what is that process like? How long does it take to become a hypnotherapist?
It could take a year, it could take 2 years, it could take 3 years. It all depends on you and how dedicated you are. And then, you have to pass all, the exams and things like that. And then you have to go out and actually, do hypnotism on people. So whether that's friends or family members, you have to get practice. It's like a doctor, right? They do residency. You have to get better.
Has there been, because I've seen, and again, I know nothing about hypnotism, but I'm very intrigued right now. Could a hypnotherapist put something negative in someone's subconscious accidentally, or hurt that person, but where their guard is completely down in that meditative state, and then you're saying you're really a dog? Well,
nothing will go against your beliefs. Nothing will go against your value system.
Okay.
Even in that meditative state, right? If it goes against your beliefs and your values, your subconscious mind will kick in and always protect you. And it's like, whoa, what's going on here? The same way as if you're having like a bad dream. You ever like wake yourself up a bad dream, you feel it? Time, yeah. Your conscious mind is kicking in. So you're having all these dreams. Where are those dreams? They're in your subconscious mind. It's the same exact thing. And it could be traumatic or whatever's happening, but your conscious mind kicks in and it's like, wake up, it's time to wake up or move around or do something or scream out. Your subconscious mind will always kick in and protect you.
I have a lot of questions.
Those,
the stage therapists, like in Las Vegas.
Oh my God, dude, that was
are those guys and gals legit?
Were they
absolutely? We owe so
when
much.
You're a chicken,
and then they start clucking. Like, is that legit?
Yeah, and I really believe that we owe a debt of gratitude to stage hypnotists. I love stage hypnotists. I'm great friends with a lot of stage hypnotists.
Really?
I love stage. I don't do stage hypnosis. Obviously, I use it for therapeutic reasons.
Sure.
But they have done so much for the awareness of hypnotherapy than any book or movie could have done. I truly believe that, because stage hypnotists, they go on tour. They, they see sometimes 3, 5, 20,000 people at a time that may not have heard of hypnotherapy before. And it's the same exact thing. If you notice, if you ever seen a stage hypnosis show, they always start with the relaxation, as I mentioned earlier today. You want to be in that meditative state. So they're like, just relax, because they know you have to lower that conscious mind. It's almost like that wall to get the suggestions into the subconscious mind. Now, remember, just like if you're using it for therapeutic, you have to be a willing participant. So the people on stage, they suspended their disbelief and to become willing participants to be a part of the show. For me, I feel like there's no difference than the movies. The movies are a state of hypnotherapy, right? You go into the movie, it's all dark, you're relaxed in your chair. It's the exact same thing. And you're going along for the ride in the movie. If you ever cried in the movie, why are you crying in the movie? It's like a projector and a screen, but it's affecting you emotionally. Why? Because you're in a state of hypnosis. You lower the subconscious mind. It's like that wall, and you're allowing the suggestions from the movie to penetrate your subconscious mind, and you're laughing and you're crying and you're feeling angry at a character or whatever. What the heck is that? You know, those are actors. You know, they were cut, action, all that stuff.
Why are you getting so into it?
Went along for it. There's no such thing as Spider-Man or some guy jumping off buildings.
Right.
But you suspend that disbelief for the 2 hours in the movie to really enjoy it. It's the exact same thing with hypnotherapy. It's the exact same thing with stage hypnosis. It's no different.
How has COVID affected you doing it? Does hypnotherapy work over Zoom? Does it work over, are you not, clearly you're not seeing people face to face now, right? Are you doing it?
Or are you?
Yeah, it's not like I live in Florida.
We should talk about that, Selena. We should pack up the three of us and head down south.
You know, the mayor and the governor here is a little different. It's like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, seriously. Selena's a New
No
Yorker. If
offense
anyone
to
out there,
Florida.
yeah, no, I
Just
hear you.
saying, it's just like they have different rules.
I know. Listen, we're coming out of it. I mean, we're definitely like things are looking on the up, right? Like the numbers are going down, the cases are plummeting. So, and we're doing live with Selena right now from a snowstorm. Just want to give everyone
boom. If they can even see the
Boom.
snowstorm, and we just had like 26 inches. It's
I know.
like,
What's another 8
woo-wee.
inches, right? What's another 8 inches onto the ground? You know,
Living in the Northeast.
Can you do hypnotism on the internet?
Let me ask you a question. Can you watch a movie on
Yes.
the internet? Well, then the answer is yes. Okay. If you can watch a movie, you can allow yourself to be in that state of trance and that state of hypnotherapy. All it takes is for you to be open and willing and allow your disbelief to be suspended, allow your conscious mind, okay, to be lowered, for the suggestions to go into your subconscious mind. I really want the audience to really connect the two. That
Right.
movies are the exact same thing of hypnotherapy.
It's
Just that
amazing.
hypnotherapists want to take you to your goal and what you want. A movie, they want you to feel their characters,
Right.
wherever they want to take you in that movie. It's the
Right.
exact same thing. You're allowing the suggestions to penetrate your subconscious mind. And just like sometimes it could be that night or a week later, you're still thinking about that movie. Why are you thinking about that movie? It's done, it's finished. Because those suggestions in your mind, it's the same exact thing with hypnotherapy.
So like when I watch a movie at night, and if I'll watch it on the later side of things and it's a good movie and I'm super into it, I'm going to be up till 4:30 in the morning trying to calm down from that movie, whatever it may be. So was I hypnotized?
Of course, every movie we're hypnotized from birth. Think about it, and I'm so glad you said that. We're hypnotized from birth. Think about when you come out as an infant from your mother's wherever. Okay, you don't know anything. You don't know the language. You don't know your name. You definitely don't know where you are, what's going on, right? So your immediate surroundings already hypnotize you. When you from like 0 until like 5 years old, you're in a hypnagogic state. That means anything people are throwing at you, your subconscious mind, is taken in because your conscious mind hasn't been developed yet. So this is how your parents said, "You're Eric." You're like, well, who's Eric? I guess that's me, because they keep telling you that over and over, and you're taking it in your subconscious mind. They're like, okay, we speak English. Here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And you're like, well, what's that? And they're like, this is the language we speak. If you were in Japan, your name would be like Okinayo or whatever, and you would speak Japanese. So we're in a state of hypnosis from birth up until now. Okay. And this is what advertisers know. People know all the time. Especially when you're watching a movie at night, typically we're kind of sleepy or tired. We're like, okay, what's this? And that's the perfect time for those suggestions to go into your subconscious mind.
Bro.
And that's why, child, you take in things from your parents or your guardians, whoever trained you. And then as you get older, people tell you, oh, wow, you act just like your father. Your mannerisms are so like your father. And you're like, because my father has hypnotized me my whole life. That's
Selena, how long does it take to get rid of, and I'm coming from experience here, a fear of flying? How long would it take? A year? Would it take one session? Would it take 5? How does it work? How long?
Well, it all depends again, and you have to be a willing participant. So if you
100%.
go in with like kicking and screaming, now you can't hypnotize me. Well, good luck. It's not going to work for you.
Right.
But in our office, we typically recommend a minimum of 3 sessions because we need to have a consultation with you. We need to know, when did this started? What are your thoughts about it? What are your fears? What happened? So bit by bit, we break those down, and then it's the reinforcement, and then you're able to change. So I would say, we would always do a minimum of 3 sessions. You would notice a difference depending on how severe the trauma is around that.
Right.
Where does spirituality and hypnotism interconnect?
I just want to say you're saying it wrong. It's called hypnotism, not hypnotism. Hypnotism.
Yes, hypnotism, hypnotherapy, hypnosis, stage hypnotist,
right?
Hypna.
Where does spirituality interject with that? And then also, like, I don't know, and I'm going to assume, but is past lives all in the same vein?
Great questions. Great questions. You know, a lot of people in the religious community, you know, they have a fear of hypnotherapy or how that interplays, because I really feel like a lot of people are just uneducated with hypnotherapy or what they've seen in movies, and it's like, you know, blown way out of proportion, like the movie Get Out. Like, no one's sitting here with the tea and you're like, okay,
Right.
I'm going to steal your soul, your spirit, but
Right.
that's blown up in the media like that's that hypnotism. No, it doesn't work that way. So
Right.
you find most religious people, or, you know, spirit, whatever, they're okay with the terminology of meditation. And that's why meditation is probably more popular with Deepak Chopra, because what, you know, they want to put a Band-Aid over it instead of naming it what it really is. Hypnotherapy is really no different than meditation, except that with meditation, you are taught to be without thought. Versus in hypnotherapy, you're more goal oriented. So you can be spiritual and still believe hypnotherapy work. You could be spiritual and believe traditional therapy work. You could be spiritual and believe CBD work. It's not one or the other. You can have it all. You could be spiritual and watch Spider-Man. Like, you see, it's the fear, it's the irrational fear of hypnotherapy. Traditionally, is because of, you know, misinformation or you know, not having the education about hypnotherapy. That's really what it is. It's just irrational fears because they don't know.
Do you ever go back to
and what was the second question?
Kind of past lives. Is that like past life regression?
Yes. I'm so glad you brought this up. Past life regression, because I really like past life regression. In hypnotherapy, you can go and, you know, access those past lives. There's a really famous psychiatrist, Brian Weiss. You may have heard of him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Many lives, many masters. Yes.
And he was a well-known, respected psychiatrist, I believe, from Columbia. He's a New Yorker too.
Yep.
And you get where I'm going. And he had patients or clients, whatever you're going to call them, and he was stunned that, you know, when he would do hypnotherapy or the meditation, the clients would recount. They would be completely different people from like the 1800s, 1700s. He started recording and documenting because he just could not believe it, and he was hesitant to share it with the medical community because they thought they would shun him. They thought he was crazy, and he decided to take a leap of faith and just share it. He wrote the book, Many Lives, Many Masters.
Yep.
So I truly believe, and it's been proven with hypnotherapy, that this is not our first rodeo here on earth, okay? We come back as different people, and it's much easier to find out who you were, what was going on in those past lives with hypnotherapy, as Brian Weiss so beautifully demonstrated in his book, Many Lives, Many Masters, and with his clients.
Do you find yourself ever going back to that grief that you had over your family member? Do you ever find it? So it really was like a chapter closed in your life, and the new chapters with hypnotherapy opened up all new chapters for you.
Pavlov's dog, just like no matter what, you ring that bell, that dog salivated like.
Yeah, no, I wrote about that. I researched Pavlov's dog. It's incredible. I had no idea that
because what happened is that your brain creates new neural pathways. Right. So when you're thinking of like a memory, the old, you know, neural pathways was the grief. Now my mind has been conditioned so much. The new neural pathway is joy. And once your mind takes a hold of that, it's like you can't even go back. It's like when you hear about top athletes and, you know, memory muscle and things like that, they can't go back to when they were amateurs. It's like your mind has now already accepted that you are the champion. This is the way it goes. And it's like, you know, unconscious rhythm or subconscious, whatever you want to call it. You can use them interchangeably.
How does this do? I want to talk about business. How do you find that you work with business people and elevating their careers?
Absolutely. And especially being in New York City, this is like the business capital of the world. So the majority of my clients were business people or Wall Street people or really high, like, you know, executive women, which were like kicking butt, and New York hardcore executives. And most people in New York want to get the edge. You want to stay sharp. You want to be on top of your game. You want to, you know, be laser focused. And that's why they would come, you know, for hypnotherapy. So it definitely works for the business community. not
Really?
just grief or I want to lose 5 pounds or anything like that.
Does that work? Does the weight thing, does it work? Really?
Yeah,
Really?
absolutely. Because typically, if you are, severely overweight or obese,
Right.
something is going on. So
Right.
either you got teased in school, or your
Right.
parents said, I'm just throwing out things, finish all your food. There's children starving in Russia, or whatever it is. Like,
Yes.
you created these beliefs about food from somewhere. So it's just a matter of breaking down those beliefs in your mind and creating new neuron pathways in your brain. So when you think of food, it's more of a positive, healthy relationship with food versus a negative relationship. Most people that have issues with food, there's some sort of trauma that happened, in your life. I just watched this. I don't know if your audience or who Wendy Williams is.
Oh, yeah.
And she just had her, her movie biopic on Lifetime. And she
Right.
talked about how she struggled with weight because when she was younger, her parents would, tell her, you're so cute. If you weren't so big or so fat, you have such a nice face. And she said they would weigh her like every day and send her to school with, tuna fish and mustard. So she had these issues around weight from a young girl. So of course, as she got older, she was going to be overweight and had food issues because that's what they kept pumping into her subconscious mind. Like, things don't happen just out of the blue or random. Something's going
Right.
on in your mind that's causing you to have these issues or whatever it is.
Can you do multiple things per session? Like, can you do fear of flying, weight loss, and grief in one session? Or it's got to be 3 of fear of flying, 3 of...
We recommend one issue at a time because you don't want to confuse the mind, right? It's like trying to multitask. It's like, I'm going to eat, I'm going to send this email, then I'm going to pet my dog. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you wouldn't even do that in real life. Like, so you definitely don't want to do that in hypnotherapy. You want to come in with one issue, resolve that issue, and move on to the next. And I think that's a great philosophy for life as well. Multitasking, doing other things, you're just headed for disaster, right? It's like Serena Williams. She's not doing tennis and golf and baseball. Jesus Christ.
Right.
One thing at a time.
Children, can you help children? And with how young can you go?
You can definitely assist children, and there are hypnotherapists that specialize with children. I do not. I prefer people to be of legal age consent, 18 plus, because a child's mind, again, what you're telling them, they believe is fact, is gold. If you have nieces or nephews, what you tell them, they, especially if you're an authoritative figure or an adult, they will label that as fact. And I think, people should be of a legal age where their conscious mind is just, really working properly and they're making decisions for themselves. That's just a personal opinion, though, for me.
But there are hypnotherapists for children.
Exactly, because you could have children that are bedwetting or grinding their teeth or whatever it is. So you want to get to the issue of why that's happening to help that child. The child can be bullied at school, and as a parent, you don't even know. You hear about so many of these kids, unfortunately, committing suicide, and the parent like, why would my kid commit suicide? Because no one's talking to the kid to figure out what's happening. They're being bullied in school. They're taking that in. Now they think they're useless or worthless. They're in grief, and the parents don't even know. So typically, if something's happening to a kid, if their mood is changing or they're wet in the bed, something's going on in their life that you're not aware of.
Really interesting. Go ahead, Eric.
Can you share a story of like a person, you don't have to say who, but of how you helped them, where they came in with X and then they said, I want to be Y. And then this is the result of what they're doing now.
I have some great stories. I'll tell you two.
I can't wait. I got to hear them.
Well, I can tell you 3, but let's see. One of my clients, Norma Lujan, she was a great client of mine. She was a client of mine for many years. We're actually really great friends. And we were actually working on a different issue. She came in for a different issue, but then she came into the office with this magazine, and they had a contest for under 40 and fabulous. I think it was for like, was it like Vogue magazine? I can't remember now. It was many years ago. And I can send it to you after. And she's like, Selena, this is what I want to focus on. I want this, you know. It was like, oh, it was fabulous at any age. And if you won the prize, it was like a cash prize. And if you didn't live in New York, they flew you to New York. You could hang with the celebrities and the luncheon and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, we're working on this. She's like, no, I want to work on this. So we did about, if I recall, maybe like 11 sessions because she really wanted to focus on it. And then I remember her coming to the office. She was jumping up and down. Selena, I won. I can't believe it. And it was like out of like tens of thousands of people. And I said, well, I can, because we worked our behinds off for you to win. I know I did. I was working my tail off for you to win this award. Right. I can believe you won because I gave you everything for you, you know, to prime your subconscious mind, to see yourself as that winner, to hold that check, to, you know, hobnob with these celebrities. I saw that for you and I held that space for you. And I did every technique in the book for you to win. And she actually won. So another story I like to share is one of my clients, Treese. She came to me, she was having some fertility issues and she really wanted to get pregnant. So I worked with her for, she bought like a 12 session package or whatever. And on the 11th session, she came in and she told me she was pregnant. Oh, and it's such a great story because she named her daughter, her middle name is Selena. How
oh my God. That's amazing.
After me. So I have so many amazing stories. I've become really great friends with my clients. Like one of my clients, I spoke at her wedding because I helped her to, you know, get married to her husband, you know, so she's like, I know it was you.
Do you, explain HypnoBiz, right? This is your business. You own HypnoBiz, correct? Explain it. What is HypnoBiz?
HypnoBiz. Okay, so I was doing hypnotherapy in New York City for 12 years, right? And then I decided to, and that was for everyday people that had issues. And then I decided to service hypnotherapists. So I began doing hypnotherapy conferences and teaching other therapists how to be successful in their business and things like that. So then we started doing conferences all around the world, specifically for hypnotherapists to increase their skills and increase their business. So HypnoBiz now is a membership platform, and it's not just for hypnotherapists. So you can go there and you can see different topics, whether you want to lose weight or whether you, you know, whatever it is. And it's a membership platform, and you can watch different master classes from therapists that will help you to be a better person. So that's what HypnoBiz is now.
And are you still practicing hypnotherapy?
I do for specific clients because obviously I do, you know, I'm an entrepreneur as well. Sure. So I have other interests and I'm expanding, as you know, because you were just on, we just did the Law of Attraction World Summit where we had, you know, the great Michael, who I purchased his book many years ago, which was fantastic. Just ask the universe. We had, you know, friends of mine from the book and movie, The Secret. So I do many things now. I do, you know, virtual summits. I do so many different other businesses because I'm an entrepreneur. So I only take select clients.
That's incredible.
If I wanted to, like, what thinking about how I want to work on myself, and I'm seriously considering doing some type of hypnotherapy. If I wanted to rewire my brain that I would be more committed to exercising. Is that something that is possible?
Absolutely. And I highly recommend reaching out to hypnotherapists. Again, you could do traditional therapy. For me, hypnotherapy just works faster. So it's like, and it's just my opinion, traditional therapy, you know, could be like a Honda. And then hypnotherapy is like a Ferrari. And it's like, how fast do you want to get to your goal? Because I know friends that have been in therapy for 10 years. I'm like, you're no different. Like, seriously? Like, okay, did you achieve the goal? Like, what's going on here? And because I'm such a New Yorker, I just want things fast. Let's just move it. Let's see it. What's going on? Have you, like, why is it taking so long? You know, we want things now. And hypnotherapy, you know, you could achieve your goal in, you know, 12 sessions or less, depending on how committed you are, versus you could be in therapy for 10 years or more and you still haven't resolved the issues. So that's really how I see it.
There's life before Selena. And there's
seriously,
life after Selena.
Seriously, Selena, where can people like, so you're not taking on clients. I mean, can you like plug your program? Why haven't you written a book? Have you written a book yet?
Well, now that I'm talking to you, Michael, it is on the way, honey.
Selena, like you have to write the Bible for hypnotherapy. You're queen, and you should call it like Queen Hypnotherapy.
I'm sure she has a name figured out.
I know. Now that I'm hanging around you, Michael, I'm like, I need to put all this knowledge in the book. So
You
look
have
forward
to.
to that. Right now, I'm not taking clients. I only take my older clients that I've had for
Sure.
my business. But you can find out more information at hypnobiz.com. That's hypnobiz.com. You can follow me on social as well, because I do a lot of virtual summits now, especially with the pandemic and everything's online. So I have a lot of varied interests, whether that's law of attraction, whether that's women in business. I like to get my hands in a lot of things that are fun, that I enjoy.
What are your top 5 book recommendations for people who are interested in hypnotherapy?
Mm-hmm. Well, number one, I would definitely say anything, and start here. Milton Erickson, he was known as like the father of hypnotherapy. Okay. So I'm not going to recommend 5 books. I would say start there. Milton Erickson, I think he really, versus like Mesmer or Braid or all these other people that came before him, he really made hypnotherapy mainstream. So you would definitely learn so much from learning about his life and his style.
Amazing. Selena, thank you for being on Okon Bros. This was amazing. Anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome to. This was
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I enjoyed talking with you guys.
This is third eye-opening. This is not just eye-opening. This is third eye-opening. You were incredible. We're going to sign off. Hang on one second. And we're going to sign off. Everyone, go check out Selena Valentine, right? Valentine?
Hypnobiz.com.
It's Selena Dorsey Valentine, but just go to hypnobiz.com.
Yeah, it's going to be all in the comments down below in the description. So we appreciate you all tuning in. Check out Selena at HypnoBiz, and like, subscribe, and share this show if you found value in it. We appreciate you all tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.
Thanks, everyone.